Let's begin. So, as a part of International MSME Day celebrations, little early, we have initiated this Telangana Angels talks. Telangana Angels is a sector agnostic forum, majorly to facilitate investments to rooted ecosystem startups, women-led, youth-led. We have done this today, and it's happy. I'm very privileged to host two vibrant women. One is MMB co-founder Neha. Another is Goa Angels founder Madhurita Gupta, who is also a veterinarian, social leader, and impact creator. So, briefly, I would introduce myself. I am a woman of energy. I run this firm called Womenergy since 2015, impacted 10,000 women entrepreneurs till now. My journey of entrepreneurship actually started on my college table, I can say. I just found one of my colleague and one of my teacher and said, let's start a consultancy, and created a visiting card because by the time I was researching in Triple IT Hyderabad. So for me, entrepreneurship mindset was not like taught. From my childhood, I was more exposed to communism, socialism, so social equity, all these, gender things came to me early. So I always wanted money with a balance of social impact. However, when my first needs started, this entrepreneurship naturally became for me. I didn't want to be in the non-profit sector, and a profit sector started. That's how my first entrepreneurship started right after my college days on the research table. There onwards, my journey from 2012, Idya Eco Living Private Limited, being an eco consulting firm, I have incubated 40 plus brands. I'm one of the only person in the entire world who has launched successful 40 global brands, I can say, in the eco-sustainable sector. I've even won global awards for that because the environment, climate change, all these words are coming up now. But since 2012, we have been working in that sector, environment and change making. Also, the same thing, I got into the green business. I consciously brought conscious ecological activism into business. When I had my own postnatal things, that's how Womenergy began in 2015, 16 registered officially. So till 18, I was aggressively promoting women networks, trainings, art, law, health, everything. So that's when Womenergy became an ecosystem on its own. At the time, completely I was focusing on women entrepreneurship mindset, economic empowerment, social empowerment, ecological empowerment, also spiritual empowerment. So for me, women empowerment is holistic. That's how the journey later on became viral. Later it became 2018. I started a women association, again, Women Energy Association of Incubators in Manufacturing, 2021, again, post-COVID. At that time also, her market, she manufactures. Like this, always my life was all around creating things. I can say creation is feminine. I believe in femininity not as a gender, but as a creativity. This compassion, this creativity, this uniqueness which we bring along the table, I consider that as feminine. Anyway, I have two more very creative souls here. So this is my brief introduction. So as a part of the startup ecosystem, when I supported startups with our own, network ecosystem, we became a huge network platform, then an association, then many impact creating platforms. But I didn't realize the power of investments and finances that time. Few years ago, after the post COVID, when a lot of MSMEs died, honestly, why this thought occurred to me is 90% MSMEs were dying. A lot of women were affected emotionally, especially women decision making affects emotionally, also affects the organizations. So I have seen women entrepreneurs scaling up to a certain level. After that, they're not able to scale because of their mindsets also, and the mindset not being ready for the next level of money. Or sometimes money is not the everything, right? So women used to try to balance that, and socially they need to be available, personally they need to be available. Success is not just about money making. So as a part of balancing the other aspects of life, the commercial success used to come down. This is what a major point I observed in the women energy ecosystem. After reaching out almost 3,000 women entrepreneurs average on an year, I interact personally. See, everyday communications, more like, I'm just not a politician, but almost everything is like, that crowd is again entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, but more of public. I'm exposed to live entrepreneurs every time. So their family issues, life issues, mental health issues, everything start coming into the ecosystem again. So seeing this, I thought, okay, whatever it is, I have seen very little women in the money mindset. I've seen billionaires more men, or multi-billionaires more in men. I used to travel with some men, especially just to understand how did you become rich? How did you think to become rich? I mean, what was the thought? See, I used to travel with some first generation entrepreneurs who made their first 500 crore or first 100 crore in the Hyderabad ecosystem. I used to ask them. I was the youngest in the Hyderabad Director CEO Forum also. At that time, even before my marriage, I was associated with such forums. I used to spend 2, 3 days with them and ask, how did you make your first 1 crore or 100 crore? See, this question, and this, I exposed myself to money mindsets. Like that, I saw many very little people expose themselves. So one day, as I'm eventually journeying in this, I decided, especially in Telangana also, very little investors are there, and a very little investor mindset is there. That is one reason behind Telangana Angels. Also, I was inspired by Goa Angel Madhurita, who started a sector agnostic firm in Goa. When she started, might be she was judged, she was challenged. Also, there were a lot of things, but she believed in that, it's possible. A globe can come to Goa for entertainment, globe can come to Goa for investments also. And she declared, I will invest in Goans. So that I liked. So I thought, can't I declare I will invest in Telanganites or I will invest in women? Obviously, I was doing that women-led ecosystem. Anyway, this is a brief what motivated me to start Womenergy. Till now, we have supported and impacted 10,000 women and almost 47,000 beneficiaries. On record, you can see www.deepthy.in, thy.in, in that womenergy.in again. So there you will find every year which date, what program we did, how many beneficiaries we reached. So all this is a live ecosystem for me. So I gained a lot of experience. Then I saw startups struggling, ourselves struggling post-COVID, many ecosystems struggling. I understood the finance ecosystem in a different way. The investors and startups, most of them were getting sick or monotonous, or old systems, the patriarchal systems were shattering down. That's when I thought a feminine version of this system should come out. See, for me, feminine is again both in men and women. However, in the organization also, there are such certain qualities which we should inculcate. That is why I took up this topic. Women investing in women. It does not mean only women gender investing in women. In every woman word, there is a men word. So it means the feminine investing in the feminine aspect. I can say in that way, actually. So every organization has a subtler point, an organizational behavior. I'm also a master's in public administration, so I know this how this organizational behavior works. So creativity is brought across by feminine aspect only. Even innovation, intuition, all these are feminine aspects actually in an organization. Suppose discipline, rigidity, rule, this is all masculine aspects. So a lot of people don't know this in context of organizations. So that's when I thought women investing in women panel is a right time to be discussed, though it's not about women getting money and investing in women. No, it is about time, energy, resources, supporting the women ecosystems, both men and women supporting. So eventually we will have more talks on this. Thank you, one and all. Madhurita, I'll pose the first question to you.
Yeah.
Uh, you're running an angel firm, sector agnostic one, Goa Angels. When and how did you think on becoming an investor or an investor ecosystem head, whatever? What was your motivation actually, drive that led you to this wealth creation ecosystem or economic empowerment for women empowerment? What motivated you? How are you here?
Once, like I was also a startup, I was running it, and I myself faced the challenges. But then Mr. Tata invested in two of the projects, and that was the beginning of the startup and the investment. And I came to know, like everywhere we asked for the investment, they were asking, the investors were asking whether you have a male co-founder or not. So that led me to start the Goa Angels, which is very woman centric and focused investment network. And not only the challenges are to raise the fund, but the handholding, support, and the mentorship is very important for the women. And that led me to start the Goa Angels and help them in the startup ecosystem in a big way. And in the past 3 years, I gathered 20 portfolios companies, not from India alone, but Middle East, Singapore, and various other countries. So not not taught usually in the India to the women, but definitely, like after getting into this position, I have seen that a lot of young women are also now doing multiple businesses, and that too the starting is from 1 million. So the startups ecosystem as well as the investment network, it has greatly helped. And of course, with the Telangana Angels, we are going to take it forward and make this as the women founders financially support network, which is required for handholding and scaling of the startup with the seed funding, as well as depending upon the stages of the startup, not only from the HNIs investment groups, but also to help them with the government grants that is the prime focus, because Government of India has different schemes and many women entrepreneurs are availing it, but not many are aware. So making them aware and help them is the big thing to make them financially independent.
Thank you, Madhurita, for being the co-founder also and supporting us since a year. I come from a very small town in Telangana, so that's where even I was judged as a woman. But I thought one day I'll be the investor. That's all. I don't know about all these things. We just make it happen. So, like you said, a lot of support systems are still needed, but somewhere somebody should start. I thought if I don't get the support, I'll create a system which will support others. So that was the kind of attitude when we started the Telangana Angels. At the same time, women investing in women, this will be more like a club also. This club will be a wing or an alternative under Telangana Angels, where more women who seek investments, also more women who are ready to give investments will be interacting. Thank you. So, Neha, you are leading WOMB kind of women leadership programs and been part of women independent director ecosystem also, maybe since few years. Do you come across many women who have investors mindset or investors? What do you think is the gap? I have observed so many leaders on the top. Very few or rare women I have investors I have seen in this system. What do you think should change more for women to become more as investors and decision makers?
Deepthi, this is a good question. Honestly, to be, answering this question earlier, we used to see hardly there were, I mean, you could count women on your fingertips who were investors. But today, as Madhurita rightly said, and you also mentioned, there are a lot of women who have now come up and who are taking up this role as investors, who have that kind of mindset, an investor mindset, because you need to think strategically, you need to be financially savvy, you need to be capable of that long term vision about the company. So there are a lot of women who have now come up and who are now taking up this role as an investor. But even then, I would say that, this mindset isn't activated or completely channelized towards the investing roles, especially with the angel investing part, the venture capital part, for fund leadership part. So these kind of aspects are still somewhere where, we need more and more women to come up and take up this role. I very clearly remember in one of our events, Miss Smriti Irani, who was the then Women and Child Welfare Development Minister, had come in and graced that occasion. And she categorically mentioned that there are, while women seek investments, there are less investors who are ready to invest in women. And hence, I feel there is a huge need of such kind of ecosystem to be developed, so that there are more and more women who can support other women, not only women, but men, women, as you rightly said, Deepthi, that in every woman there is a man, right? So there needs to be this entire ecosystem that needs to be created by us, which supports each other, which is there to stand along. Many senior women leaders who have high personal family wealth, who have deep networks, who have very amazing business acumen, who have experience in evaluating the risks and the returns, they are still not stepping up as decision makers in the capital allocation sector. There may be a lot of reasons. Maybe one that is, the access, the lack of awareness of access, not exposed to many investment opportunities earlier, because, whether these startup angel rounds, syndicates, fund participation, these are all new terms. So women earlier were not exposed to all of them. Hence, there is a lot of need for women to be exposed to such kind of things, so that they feel more confident, so that they understand what are the risks, because women have been raised to be risk savers and not investors as such earlier. So if you get right training to protect the wealth, to grow it properly, I think these conservative lens will make it more and more women to come forward and invest in other, startups, in other businesses. And of course, then a very key role is placed by the network and the influence of that network. So the deal flows, the fund formation, which are highly networked ecosystems, women will need to be part of those kind of ecosystems as well, so that more and more capital
Yeah.
decision making comes into them. So yeah, that is my understanding on, how women can kind of more and more participate in investing, helping and supporting to create this ecosystem stronger, vibrant.
Very, very beautifully said, Neha. I like the word fund leaders, more fund leaders with women. And yes, the networking part, which helps us access more accessibility into this investment ecosystem space. That's a very good point. And Rita, like women investing in women, that is a theme today. We are investing in each other now, trust, time, resources, ecosystem, etc. Can you give more advice on policy changes, maybe in public sector, also in the private space, also in general, for more women to invest in women? What do you think should be the policy change or any ecosystem changes? What do you suggest?
Right. So once, I started, there were only 3% women in the investor segment. But right now, that figure has changed to 7%. So 7% women investors are those investors who are likely to invest in the women-led companies alone. And with this increase in the women investors, it has become easier for the women founders to raise. You will be surprised that so many women founders, when they were raising, they during the term sheet they were asked to sign, you cannot have the babies for 3 years. So just imagine a male investor asking a woman founder. So once a woman investor is there, they make it possible because they understand the challenges what women founders are facing. So the and through the government also, now there are a lot of support and the policy changes are there. There are Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, which focuses on giving the collateral free loan for the business owners and all. Along with that, Lakpati Didi scheme, which is providing 1 lakh kind of loan. And then there are other schemes where they are giving 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs of loan for women to set up the MSME led companies. So these kind of schemes are already supporting a big way to the women founders. Along with that, there are a lot of other schemes like Women Entrepreneurship Fund, which provides credit guarantee along with coverage for entire coverage for the women entrepreneurs. So, and coming to the, like, lot of women entrepreneurs are usually dealing into the D2C space or food FMCG category. And another one category is the tech category. So for the women who are dealing into the D2C category, with there is a scheme and the policy change by the government where they are supporting them through the Mahila E-Heart, where they, which is a very big marketplace for the women to showcase their product. And the women in technology, then again the women entrepreneurship platform is there, which is providing them with the funds as well as the market support for the tech.
Thank you, Madhurita, for throwing some light on the policies and all. However, like you said, that are good points. Gender sensitization needed more in the private space. When investors pose questions to women, that they're generally not asked to men. That kind of so more of acceptance on the women ecosystem kind of when women startups are there. Like you said, if women grow as more leaders, they understand things. At the same time, I think we should sensitize men to understand the things also equally, not just women. So, Neha, like you already said, more collaborations in network ecosystem should happen. With sector agnostic ecosystems like Womenergy, also women centric, for example, and Telangana Angels now Telangana centric. So, can you throw more light on this aspect? Like, what do you think can simplify investments to startups, eligible startups or scalable, profitable startups? I mean, with respect to mentor ecosystem, because you're running Mentor My Board platform, how does mentorship or make it easy simplify investments to startups?
Absolutely. Deepthi, this is a wonderful question because more and more collaborations with sector agnostic ecosystems, like you rightly mentioned, Womenergy, Telangana Angels, we have Atal incubation centers. So, and there are a lot of others who are very beneficial. They are crucial for accelerating the success of women-led businesses, inclusive startups in India, which is the current, economic scenario as well. With regards to mentorship, mentorship specifically, if you are asking me, so cross-pollination of ideas and network is one very important part that plays role, because there are sector agnostic platforms like Mentor My Board, which come into picture, which bring diverse founders, investors, mentors, all in the same room. We help exposure, we help this kind of exposure for women founders, who can tap into untraditional or non-traditional sectors like the deep tech, the fintech, the climate, which are often male-dominated kind of sectors. Inclusivity. So inclusivity is one another very key aspect that drives innovation. And when women are, women and the marginalized groups from Indian economy, they often bring new perspectives to these overlooked problems of funding ideas, of the challenges that the startups are facing. So definitely, these are some kind of pointers that when mentorship is there, you can leverage upon. Then definitely, they also bring access to a non-biased capital, because when investors are investing, they are aware, they are actually made aware about the entire ecosystem that works for them. And then, as Madhurita rightly said, right, that such questions or such comments are not passed, that you cannot have kids or something, right? So these kind of comments are not passed due to more and more awareness that has been created since past few years, that we are all working on these systems. And then, if you have to kind of simplify the investment for the eligible startups with the mentor perspective, then investment readiness boot camps is something that the way you are running this boot camp, right? So before pitching to the investors, those sector agnostic partners can run short practical sessions on financial modeling, on valuations, on how storytelling is important for the businesses. Mentors can guide the pivot points for the founders, so that the model becomes scalable, fundable. We just had that session of pitching, right? So co-investment syndicates is something that they can also check and they can also vouch on. So mentor-led screening panels are there, which will help them become pre-investment ready, and cutting down the investor time and the founder efforts as well. So definitely there are a lot of kind of opportunities and advantages for these kind of things that are available. And you are rightly creating that ecosystem, complete ecosystem for them to thrive and to grow with amazing governance foundations, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you, Neha. They were beautiful points. Kindly. So, yes, Neha, I agree with you. In the morning, we had the startup pitches. Even the mentors were so helpful. Like rightly said, Sridhar was also mentioning, like 80% of the wealth is going to be in women's hands very soon. In the entire, not only in the country, but the whole globe, either through inherent value or through the self-decision value. That was he was telling, either the first generation or maybe inheritance value. So that makes it very important and urgent to create such ecosystems like women investing in women. And rightly put forward, the mentorship plays a very, very key role. So looking forward also for more collaborations like this. Even in Telangana Angels, that is the strategy. I could bring it up so short time and so quickly, because for a decade we have worked with women-led ecosystems. That was the biggest asset. At the same time, we got exposed to every year thousands of entrepreneurs. So that gave us a lot of wisdom, value, and association with already existing mentors, investors also led this. So nothing without mentors, I can say. Like in our Indian culture also, the guru word is always there. So that learning, always learning from the guru thought for everybody. In everybody, there is something to learn. And when it comes to experienced mentors, yes, it quickens our time. It doesn't waste the founder's time, also the startup's time. So like you said, morning we screened out with preliminary in-house investors, mentors. Then we go to the outside mentors. Like that, we have many strategies in Telangana Angels too. Aggregating incubators, accelerators, startups. So we have innovative approaches there. Thank you. So Rita, kindly give a motivational message to women startups and women leaders out there on how to tune their investment mindsets and be ready for the ecosystems.
See, they have to start early and they should not think that they can't raise the fund. First of all, the blockage of the mind which they have, they need to come out of it. I have met so many young founders, women founders, who even that we do not have the male co-founder and all, but now they are coming up very well. So the strategy should be very clear that you should not be ashamed to ask the investment, because many of them feel shy to ask. Had I not asked Mr. Tata to invest in my startup, then he would not have. So first they should overcome that. That's the first for them to go ahead with the investment, and then they should know the category they are dealing in, because not all investors will invest in D2C, right? So the investor who invests in D2C will not invest in the tech. So they need to identify that gap and then approach those investors through LinkedIn or through Telangana Angels. So we are all here to support each other in that way. So to make themselves successful, they must have a vision. Like many of the startups, they die up very early because they see the real challenges, whether it's in the family form or during the startup raising funds and investment, or even to scale up the startup. So those challenges that demotivates them in a big way. So to overcome those challenges is the biggest thing. And if they do that, there is no end, because like so many startups like Mama Earth, Nika, all these are women from the different ages, but they are now unicorns. So there is no end, and there is no age for having a startup and the successful story.
Wow.
So keep going, do the hard work, and rest will follow.
Wow, that's a wow message, Madhurita.
This one
Totally
was
agree.
really very impactful,
Yeah.
Madhurita. True.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should, like, women feel shame to present ask also. That was a very affirmative point. I liked it. I
Yeah.
find a lot of women hesitating to asking help, asking for investment. Yeah. So anyway, and truly said, keep going consistent. So when I started this also, a lot of people said, why Telangana Angels? Already Hyderabad Angels is there, or some other angels is there. So I said, see, there may be 100 angel firms. Maybe angel itself is outdated concept now. But my thing was, didn't stop believing in myself. Yeah, one more rooted angel is coming, or we will approach it differently. Our approaches are different.
Very
So
true.
even I would pass on the same message, more or less, that a woman should never give up. A woman, if she gives up, the whole society gives up. I believe like that. Like entire ecosystem is dependent on her. So a woman first should have that much self-love, self-faith. When everybody doubt you, that minute when you don't doubt yourself and keep up to it, that is when you move ahead. That is how Womenergy moved. That is how Womenergy rised, fell, again fought back, running, again creating new systems. So for every woman energy out there, this energy, you are the energy. So how can energy doubt itself? So it's like a flow. There's nothing to doubt. It is just all about if you're expressing or not. Like Madhurita said, the block itself is inside first, nowhere outside. If anybody say, I will tell I am not what you think I am. I am what you are what you think you are. We should tell that to every organization also. So if women have this attitude first, yes, women leadership. Thank you, Madhurita. That was beautiful message.
Deepthi, I
See,
think you also mentioned a very important point, and just to add one liner to this, to there are a lot of times that even if we are super confident, even if we want to
yes,
keep it going, even if we are not ashamed of asking of anything, but then still there are points when, or there are situations when we feel down, when we feel
right.
that maybe this will not work, and just showing up one more day, or just speaking to someone who is from that ecosystem, or who will help you, or who you think as a role model, it creates a lot of difference in the way you are thinking, and you get energized. And that is why I mean, mentors or guides or coaches are really important, because they are the people who believe in you even when you are not believing in yourself. So that is a very, very important point that you mentioned, Dipti. Thank you for that.
Yeah, very true. Not only the mentors, the teams also. Like we
True.
pick up friends in real life, in organization, business teams, right? Business teams believe you, keep you going. It is not easy. Like you said, there will be very dark time when, everything will be the path
Exactly.
itself, everything is doubt, judgment, fear at that time. But in that time, if you believe and keep going, yeah, it's nothing like that. So yeah,
I
Neha,
also, Deepthi, read about a very beautiful, situation. So Indra Nui, the ex PepsiCo, so when she was going to take up her position as a CEO of PepsiCo, her pre-CEO, when she went and met him, so she asked him that, what is it that you do when you are really down, or what is it that you do when you're not in those good times? And he mentioned that, Indra, there will be a lot of times when you will be really down, when people will be pulling you apart, and things will not be in control. Those are the days that you must turn up, that you must show up. Just put up your makeup, just be as natural as you can, wear a smile on your face, and just face that situation that day. And if you can overcome that very day, you are done through it. So that was a very powerful kind of a situation that stayed with me.
that was very inspiring. I wanted to ask you message for the day, but it seems you've already given a message for the day. Even I
Yes.
find
Hi,
many
Neha
entrepreneurs
and
doubting the
Deepthi.
organization journey. It is
Yeah.
okay not to be okay. In organization, everything success is a very, very subjective word, especially when it comes to women. Success is holistic. Like I said, women empowerment is
Very true.
holistic. Success is very holistic. Sometimes you
Very honest.
socially you have to be more available, sometimes personally more available, sometimes organization more available. So organizations need not be perfect. For example, when I launched this either Womenergy or Telangana Angels, whatever it is, right, nothing was perfect. I mean, it's not like it need not be. It is okay not to be okay. Like that, if organizations, the vision should be clear, the path should be clear, the conviction and the faith of the founder or the creator that this will work. Come what, if it doesn't work, we'll adapt it, we'll evolve it, we'll innovate it. But the vision is same, right? Mission is same.
Correct.
Our destiny is decided, and we decide the journey is only experience. Entrepreneurship for me is also only an experience. So this woman entrepreneurship, MSME, ecosystem, all this is only experience, a wisdom, experiential thing for me. Nice message, Neha, anyway. So I think we asked 5, 6 questions. So shall we call it a day for today? Because this is only the first day of Women Investing in Women Club. I wanted the first 2 beautiful women supporters to be on board today here.
Dipti,
So
thank
we
you
may
so much.